Hey, welcome to Sims Tennis. We got an interesting video for you guys today. We're going to be finding you some deals. So I had someone reach out to me and they wanted to give a racket as a gift for Christmas. They were asking, what's the best deal I can get right now? And it got me thinking, what are the best deals? And what are going to be some of the best deals you guys can find next year? So figured I'd turn it into a video, and here we go. So the first racket on my list here is the Dunlop FX 500 Tour. This racket is a great deal right now at $99. The specs of the racket are that it is 98 square inches. It's got a 16 by 19 string pattern, weighs 305 grams, and has a balance point of 315 millimeters. For the playability characteristics, it's going to be pretty stiff and offer pretty good energy return. This FX line is essentially Dunlop's version of Babolat's Pure Drive line, so it's got pretty good power, pretty good control. This one especially because it's got that 98 square inch head as opposed to many other rackets in this category which have 100 square inch heads. And this racket is going to be pretty quick and maneuverable as well. All right, and the next racket on my list is very near and dear to my heart. This is a racket that I've used for a long period of time. I'm not currently using it, but I have used it for a good amount of time, and so I'm really familiar with it. It's the Head Gravity Pro. The price of the Head Gravity Pro is currently $149, which is a great deal. It's an interesting frame because it's got a thin beam, but then it's got that 100 square inch head and an 18 by 20 string pattern. It weighs 315 grams and has a balance point of 315 millimeters. So for the playability characteristics, it's going to offer good control. It's got that 18 by 20 string pattern and the thin beam, so that lends itself to good control and feel. It also has a pretty good weight to it, and so it's going to have good mass-based power. So you're going to have to generate the power on your own and use the mass of the racket. But if you can do that, this racket has great power. And as I mentioned before, it also has that pretty comfortable feel. All right, and next up on the list is another racket that I've used and I know well. I'm using the current version of the Head Extreme Tour, but I used this prior version as well. So the last version is on sale for a good price of $149. The specs of the racket are that it's 98 square inches. It's got a 16 by 19 string pattern, weighs 305 grams, and also has that 315 millimeter balance point. Okay, so playability characteristics of this racket, it's going to offer a pretty stiff and just really direct feel, so that leads to some good control. It's also quick and maneuverable in its stock form, but I recommend adding some weight to it. It's a great platform racket for doing that, and some people have really unlocked kind of some magic potential this racket has by doing so. All right, and next up on the list is the Head Radical Pro. If you're more of an intermediate player as opposed to an advanced, I might put the Head Radical MP here, but both of those rackets are currently $149. They both have a 98 square inch head and a 16 by 19 string pattern. The Radical Pro is 315 grams. The Radical MP is going to be a little bit lighter, and it has a 315 millimeter balance. So some playability characteristics. This offers a stiff but somewhat muted response. It's got good control because that 16 by 19 string pattern is pretty tight and it's on a 98 square inch head. And it's got pretty good mass-based power as well. So next up on the list is the Yonex EZone 98, the 2020 version. This racket is currently selling for $159. It's got a 98 square inch head, 16 by 19 string pattern, 305 gram weight, and a 315 millimeter balance. So for the playability characteristics, I would say that this racket is probably the most user-friendly of the ones that I've listed so far. It's stiff, but it has a thinner area in the throat, which allows the racket to kind of flex and breathe, and so it doesn't play super stiff. It's got a pretty good feel to it. So it's got that good playability. It's also maneuverable and has a good amount of power. Okay, so that's 5 rackets, but I do have a 6th honorable mention here. The Babolat Pure Strike 16 by 19 Generation 3. When the person reached out to me looking for a deal and asking what good deals are on rackets right now, This is what I recommended to them. At the time, it was on sale for $149. It's currently no longer on sale, but I anticipate that it will go on sale several more times in 2023. So just keep your eyes out for that. Great racket. The specs are that it's 98 square inches. It's got a 16 by 19 string pattern. It's 305 grams and has a 320 millimeter balance. For the playability characteristics, it's got a softer kind of like muted feel for a racket of this category. And it's got pretty good all-around playability. All right, so that completes my list of rackets. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for visiting the channel. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and happy hitting.